Hi, Josh from Shut Up and Game here to talk to you today about Final Fight for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. This is the backstory of the game, and basically, Mike Hager is a former wrestler, and now he's the mayor of Metro City, city high in crime, and it's basically controlled by the Mad Gear Gang. Now they don't like Mike Hager very much, so they've kidnapped his daughter in an attempt to blackmail him into stopping his war on crime in the city. Now, Mike Hager doesn't take kindly to this, and him and Jessica's boyfriend, Cody, basically bring the war to Mad Gear. They work their way to the top of the Mad Gear gang, and that's actually the first boss right there. Spoiler alert. So, yeah, Capcom restricted. What? Jessica's been kidnapped. The Mad Gears must pay. So what they don't know, I guess, is that Mike Hager used to be a wrestler, and Cody seems to be physically fit, if not a boxer himself. So I started off playing as Hager, and because later in the LP I have to use a continue, I switch over from Cody and then back to Hager again. So this is the first level, and we're in the slums. I'm thinking this is downtown, who knows. And as you can see, the sprites are big, and back in the day, back in the 90s, when this game came out, you didn't see this very often. I mean, people were more used to like Final Fantasy II, or Final Fantasy games in general, or like Mario, the kind of super like animated kind of sprites. They look good, but they weren't quite as vibrant as these. And Final Fight is the first game I remember ever doing something like this. Big sprites, detailed, and pretty realistic for its time. I mean, now you have games like Modern Warfare and stuff like that do this kind of stuff all the time, and you don't see this kind of stuff, or you didn't see this kind of stuff at the time anyway. And I mean, this game is pretty nitty-gritty. I mean, the only thing that's really missing is maybe blood, and that might have been censored by Nintendo, because they kind of were against like blood and gore. I mean, look what they did with Mortal Kombat. But this game, I don't know. Considering how violent and realistic it is, I'm surprised they let this game get released at all. And those enemies, they attack you with their head. Flying through this level not too badly. You start with 5 lives and you get 3 continues, so it's not too bad. The game does get pretty challenging later, and you'll see that when we get there. But as for Mike Hager, this isn't the only game series he's appeared in. He appears in Saturday Night Slam Masters as well, which is actually a wrestling game, which I believe is set before Final Fight. He also appears in Capcom vs. Tatsunoko as a playable character, and that's his first fighting game franchise that he's ever been in. People may confuse him for Zangief from Street Fighter 2, but it's not him. They just have a similar moveset. And this is the first boss, Thrasher, right here. And his name was actually censored in the North American release. In Japan and I think Europe, they call him Damned. Well, maybe not in Europe. And he's not too bad. You just have to watch out. After you beat on him for a while, he'll go back on that subway, near that subway sign, and stay up there, and he'll distract you with the goons. And then what he'll do is try to get a free hit on you when you're not paying attention. He'll try to jump kick you like that, and you just have to watch for him. And now, once you kill him, his minions die and the level's over. He's not too bad for a first boss, but he's not any indication of the difficulty later. They definitely ramp up the difficulty. Bosses later harder to grab. When you grab and do moves, it hurts a lot more than your regular combo usually. So now we're in the subway, and we're gonna make our way onto the train actually in a few moments. These enemies are really annoying. Slash and Axel, who I believe are references to Guns N' Roses. They're pretty hard. They block They're the only enemy that can do that, and they basically do a double-fisted overhand slam into you, and it takes off about a quarter to half of your health. A lot of the enemies are recycled quite frequently, but that's okay because there's a lot of enemy variety. This enemy, Billy, actually, in the original version of the game, was, well, a female, sort of. They were transvestites, both Billy and his orange-haired palette swap were transvestites in the original version of the game. This is an arcade port, now that I think about it. And the arcade port had co-op, and it also had a third character named Guy, who appears in a special Blockbuster exclusive version of this game, which cuts out Cody and puts Guy in his place. He does play differently than Cody, but they're both kind of light hitters, but they're more combo heavy than say Hager, who has a lot more power to him, but he does less hits. Like Cody, when he throws, like when he does a grab and into a throw combo, he doesn't do nearly as much damage as Hager. What else can I talk about? Yeah, so Cody, Cody's a light attacker, whereas, you know, Hager's your heavy hitter. And right now, that's Andor. He's kind of an homage or a reference to Andre the Giant, who was a real life wrestler in the 70s and 80s. Those enemies can get pretty hard. They'll actually knock you down on the ground, and sometimes they'll jump in the air, completely defying physics. Do something like that to you, but land on you. Hager also has like an air grab move where he can kind of pile drive you into the ground. You can also pick up weapons like that knife there. I don't know if I pick it up here, but Hager he can only throw the knife, whereas Cody can stab with it as well as throw it. There's also a katana as well as a pipe, and there's health pickups and things like that. Picking up health and like boom boxes and like diamonds gives you points, and you can actually earn lives in this game. You'll notice there is a time limit, but it's not exactly a challenge to get through the level in time. Also, because I believe every time you die, the timer resets for one, and it makes it look like you have 69 seconds to beat the level. But I'm pretty sure, well, I'm definitely sure that the timer doesn't go down that quickly. As you see, I'm losing a lot of lives in this level. The enemy spawn can be kind of unfair sometimes. They can kind of gang up on you, but you can like attack more than one character at a time. Like they'll kind of pile up on you, but once you get punching, they kind of all get hurt by your punches. Cody also appears in Street Fighter Alpha, but that takes place sometime after this, and he's actually been to jail and broken out. And he's also in Super Street Fighter 4, and Guy also appears in Street Fighter Alpha and Super Street Fighter 4 and on. Cody and Guy wouldn't appear... Oh no, sorry, Cody wouldn't appear in Final Fight 2 or 3, or the franchise for that matter, until Final Fight Streetwise came out. And in that, he's actually sort of an antagonist to... his little brother is actually the protagonist in Streetwise, which was released on the PS2. But he's like a drugged out kind of like steroid, like he's addicted to this drug that's sort of like a steroid, kind of like Venom from the Batman franchise, and he kind of mutates into like a monster that you have to fight towards the end of the game. We're getting close to the end of this part, actually. This boss, also his name was also changed in the localization from Sodom to Katana, because Sodom is a reference to religion. And Nintendo didn't like that back in the day. They were totally against religious imagery, religiously named characters, and stuff like that. Yeah, this boss isn't too bad. He just combos a lot, and I could have taken advantage of picking up his katanas from the ground, but I didn't. But they don't exactly help because he kind of bum rushes you before his every boss. They have a certain amount of time when they get knocked down of invincibility, and he kind of bum rushes you before that wears off. This was the inspiration for attacking the car in Street Fighter 2, because this came out first. And yeah, and I'm gonna end the part here. And if you like this video, please subscribe. This is my first solo Let's Play, so I'm hoping it goes okay and people like it. I'm gonna stop the recording now.